Music is a beautiful, powerful, and healing platform, and it can be if you use it in that way. I grew up in a musical family. My father loved R&B and jazz music, and my mother loved rock and contemporary. San Diego is a very artistic community, but not a lot of people know that. We like music, we enjoy the arts, we enjoy theater, but we're sort of indifferent when it comes to the business, you know, that you would see more in like LA or you'd see in New York. The pocket of the street that I grew up on, I always think about it and I said, God, it was so special. It was kind of this little circle of friends that we grew up in, and they weren't musicians, but we all supported each other so much. Even to this day, you know, my friend Ricardo works for Apple. Alex, a friend of ours, owns a gym now, and Jamie is this great journalist and this travel blogger. We were the tightest knit group you could ever think of, even tighter than the people that I went to school with, because we lived around each other and saw each other every day. I was fortunate enough to attend a performance arts school. It's called SCPA. Well, it's an acronym for School for Creative and Performance Arts. The focus was theater, the focus was jazz, the focus was classical music. Mr. Doyle was my musical theater teacher. He was incredible, and he always pushed us not in an abrasive way. You know what I mean? He always pushed us by believing in us.
I first saw her in a production of Once on This Island. There was something about her voice that wasn't just pretty sounds. It made the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Move mountains. There were a few styles of music that I had never heard of or never explored before I got to SCPA.
We talked about Billie Holiday and we talked about Janis Joplin, and they weren't necessarily people who had beautiful voices, but they were people who put their heart, you know, took their hearts out and threw it down on the ground and then squashed it right in front of you.
The teachers at SCPA taught me a lot. The biggest lessons that they taught me collectively there was to, when you're performing or when you're creating, to leave it all out there. It doesn't matter if people make fun of you, it doesn't matter if people are disapproving. Give all of yourself in every moment.
I think people are starting to discover her, and when they discover her, they have a passion about her. It's not about just one song, it's about discovering someone who's speaking to you. Overnight success. If you don't count the first 15 years.
Nobody sees the 15 years leading up to it. You know, nobody sees this home studio or trying to scrounge money together to get up to LA to do a writing session and, you know, doing a performance in front of a strip mall or trying to get your own band and your own players together. There was a point right before all of this started. It was just a moment of questioning. You know what I mean? Am I really forging the right path right now? Is this where I'm supposed to be? I was living in a tiny apartment, you know, in Chula Vista with my mother. And Stevie Wonder reached out to call me to say, hey, you know, I want to work with you. I want to write songs together. And you know, it's Stevie Wonder. So you just feel, I always tell people, I feel like this meteor just crashed into my house.
So one of the first things we did was Sundance Film Festival, and no one knew who Andra was, and walked off the stage, and Spike Lee grabbed her, said something to her, and then she turned to me and said, Spike would like to direct my first video. And that's the kind of things that happen to her when you just let people find her and experience her. With her right now, there's a lot of moments where we'll walk around and I'll even tell her, I said, just stop, pause for a minute, take a look at what's going on. You know, 6 months ago, no one knew who you were, and now here you are walking into the White House, and there's Michelle Obama to greet Andra before Andra sings Rise Up to announce the launch of the First Lady's education initiative. And I just looked at her and she just started giggling, and I said, what? And she's like, this isn't really happening.
We've kind of been riding this roller coaster together and sort of discovering things and figuring it out together, and it's been incredible. And I rise up, I like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again.
Part of what's great about the song is that it's not about any one thing in particular. What do you need to rise up about? What do you need to do better? What can be your personal rise up moment? And so whatever you're going through at any time, that song can speak to you. This album has a lot of heartbreak in it, but it has a lot of responsibility that she's taken on for the heartbreak that she's caused.
I was in a relationship. There was someone who also supported me, actually my ex-boyfriend. Him and his family, before I met Jeffrey and all of them, supported me so much. I was in that relationship with somebody who was so good and so amazing, and I cheated on him. But I was always reminded by God, like, okay, you can do the right thing, but you have to tell the truth. You know what I mean? You have to rip that Band-Aid off. I finally admitted to him everything that I had done, and it was painful dealing with the guilt and the shame, really questioning, can I be a good person? When you do things in your life that hurt other people and then you have to face yourself, I think it's scary and it's painful, but it's the only thing that can save you.
She really started to find peace within herself. When she got really comfortable with herself and who she was able to then become the artist that she is today.
Move mountains. Community is important all the time, not just in the beginning stages, but all the way until the end. There's nothing that we do independent of other people. Art schools need funding, or arts programs need funding. I want to use my platform also to bring awareness to, there's a homeless epidemic that's happening here in San Diego that I'd like to bring awareness to as well eventually, and team up with some organizations.
I have known her only as a wonderfully giving and caring spiritual person, and her ability to affect people, her influence has certainly grown, and with that, she takes it as a real responsibility. I mean, this is a true artist who has something to say and has a vision and a purpose for doing this, and the purpose is not to sell tickets or sell records. That is a byproduct of what she's doing. She's delivering a message of truth and honesty and healing and hope.
Art and music in general is a collaborative thing. We're our highest selves when we're working as one.
State Farm celebrates great artists and the good neighbors back home who helped make them who they are today. Watch more artist stories at neighborhoodsessions.com.